If you think you know the best neighborhoods to live in downtown Toronto, well, think again, because what I'm finding is most people are missing a few crucial details. Downtown Toronto is filled with a lot of amazing options for condo purchasers or renters, but what I'm finding is there's only a few specific areas that give you great lifestyle, great for investment, and great for long-term value growth. So whether you are a first-time homebuyer, an investor, an upsizer, a downsizer, it doesn't really matter. Choosing the wrong neighborhood not only could not give you the lifestyle that you're looking for, but could lose you thousands of dollars into the future if you don't buy in the right pocket. So let's break down the 5 most popular downtown Toronto condo neighborhoods based on conversations I'm having with my clients. My name's Tom Storey. I run a real estate team here in the city of Toronto. And if you're new here, make sure to get subscribed. If you learn anything new in this video, make sure to like it. You can also book a call with our team in the first link in the description. This video is obviously just my opinion, but it's my opinion based on almost 11 years of actively helping people buy and sell condos in the downtown core. So the 5 neighborhoods that we're going to focus on are the ones that are most often brought up to me from potential buyers, them saying, I want to live here for these specific reasons. After we talk about the 5 neighborhoods, we'll also talk about 7 other alternative options and why they might work great for you. Also keep in mind, this is just for downtown Toronto, so Midtown, North York people, I'm not leaving you out on purpose. I'll make another video on that in the future. The number 1 most popular area that I'm finding with condo buyers is King Street West. And you can really say, you know, it's not just King Street West. It would probably go south to like Front Street and maybe north to like Richmond. And you'd say it probably starts from Spadina to Bathurst in terms of like that true pocket there. The reason why people love this area, obviously it's located very, very well. You're walking distance to most things. There's great restaurants. If you're into the like nightclub scene, which I'm not, I'm too old now, but back in the day, it could have been fun. But more than anything, you're getting buildings that for the most part are not these giant towers where everything looks the same. A lot of them are low-rise, boutique, loft-style buildings located in a great area of Toronto that is very trendy. And watching the condo market change every once in a while, going from balanced out market to hot market to cold market, what's been interesting to me is that these type of properties that have something a little bit more unique about them, and it could just mean higher ceilings, having a boutique style building, you know, having 3 elevators in the building instead of 2, you know, there's little things like that that could add up, do make a difference when there's lots to choose from. So cookie cutter condos are fine, you know, pretty much for the most part, but in a market where there's lots to choose from, I found these more boutique style, loft style buildings are selling faster at premium prices compared to everything else. The second most popular neighborhood is St. Lawrence Market. Now there's not as many condos in that area, but there's a lot of really, really good ones. And at least what I've kind of noticed is that the people that buy in King West in their early to mid 20s or even renting King West, as they kind of approach their 30s and beyond, they kind of move a little bit more east downtown. So I've seen, at least in my opinion, St. Lawrence Market be like the slightly more mature, just in terms of like age group option for condo owners in the city. And there's a lot going on there, right? There's great restaurants. You're literally right beside Union Station. There's tons to choose from. And of course, you have the St. Lawrence Market you can go to and grocery shop, which is awesome. I lived close in this neighborhood for about 4 years before I moved a few years ago when we were growing our family. It's a great area. I highly recommend it. Some of my favorite buildings in the city are located in this zone. The third most popular area is actually close to St. Lawrence Market. It's the Distillery District. At least what I've found when buyers are approaching us saying we want to live downtown, that's always kind of in their top group of ideal areas. And what's interesting, of course, like it's a really unique area. You got the cobblestone, you got all the great stores and things like that. There's really only 3 buildings currently. They're building another one right now and you have some of the older ones, but you got 33 Mill Street, you got 390 Cherry, and you got 70 Distillery. And if you're facing the right way, the views from those buildings can be absolutely amazing. And if you are looking for better value for your dollar, there's quite a few older buildings on Mill Street. There's one on Parliament that you can get bigger space for less money down per square foot. So that area is great. The one thing I would say is like during the Christmas market that they do every single year, it gets a little bit crazy, right? So you might not want to be there during that time. But otherwise, I think it's great, especially in the summer. I mean, Toronto in the summer is a great city, but that area is a lot of fun. All right, number 4 on the list is Fort York. And when I say Fort York, what I mean is west of Bathurst to Strawn before you hit Liberty Village. So that's where 628 Fleet Street is. There's a ton of buildings in there, 209, 215, 219, 231 Fort York. There's a whole bunch that were built in that little zone. And for a while, 10 years ago, it was kind of like a quiet place and there was really not much to do, to be fair. Now you got the Loblaws, you got the Farm Boy, you got the LCBO. There's a lot more going on down there now. And I feel like it's kind of this area that when people say like, hey, I want to buy in King West, but then they realize the prices are a little bit more expensive. They're like, well, I could still be 5 minutes walking to King Street, but just buy down here in this zone. This looks like a better value option to me. And that's what we found. And that's why we've sold a ton of properties in this pocket, because people are like, okay, it's a little bit cheaper than King West. It's still got really good value. It's still close to everything. It's not City Place. It's its own zone of Fort York. And I found it's been very, very popular over the years. And that's why it's number 4 in this video. Number 5 is Liberty Village. Now, congestion is not great in the area. There's one way in, there's one way out. But the reality is there is a ton of condos there, a ton of, relatively speaking, affordable options for the downtown core. It's a great neighborhood that literally you don't have to leave it. It's got everything there. You can go grocery shopping, you can go for dinner. Your vet is there. Like everything can be in one place. There's some buildings that are, okay. There's some really good ones. There's some newer ones. Obviously, you got the Toy Factory lofts there, which everybody loves. We've helped first-time home buyers buy in there. We've helped young families buy in there. We've had a few young families actually kind of upsize out of there into homes. But we've also helped downsizers get into that area as well. So I think the whole spectrum is covered there. It's located well. You're close to everything. That's why it's on this list. Okay, now I want to go over the 7 other areas that are still good areas, but didn't make the top 5. And this doesn't mean they're not as good as the top 5. The point of this video was just me to explain to you, when buyers reach out to us, because we're very active in this area, these are the first 5 that they bring up. But here are a few other options. Queen West, of course, right? Queen West is a trendy area. You got Trinity Bellwoods. There's a ton to do. And there's a lot of nice low-rise buildings. It's a solid area to live. We've had quite a few clients move in there over the years. Then you've got the waterfront. And this is kind of like all east and west down Queens Quay. Now, most of these buildings are older, right? But you're getting good value. You're right on the water. I will say in the winter, it gets really, really windy down there. I would say typically it's a more mature clientele down there. Buildings that have been there for a lot longer. It's more owner occupied. So a lot of very well managed buildings and bigger floor plans. But it is just obviously right down there by the water, which is beautiful in the summer, but a little windy in the winter. And then we've got City Place. City Place is an area. I actually started my career in an office in City Place. I know all those buildings very, very well. There's a few of them that to this day I will actively tell people you should not be buying in. But I will say I feel like it's changed a little bit. Like everyone was really down on it for a long time, saying like City Place was going to become this like really bad area and it's only renters. It just didn't happen. It's become a community. There's a ton of families there. And it's probably because the house prices got so out of whack here that people were like, okay, well, I guess I'm raising my family in a condo instead of moving up to a house. There's some good buildings. There's some not so good buildings, but I think overall it has kind of come a long way, at least from 10, 15 years ago. One of the earlier videos on this channel, I talked about City Place, and my analogy was it was kind of like the Nickelback of condo communities. It's like, why does everyone hate on Nickelback? They got some good songs. If it came on the radio, you would turn it up. And I feel like everyone's just piling on because it used to not be the best. I think it's come a long way. There's some solid options if you're buying in the right building, but that's why you need to talk to a real estate agent that actually knows what's going on in that area. All right, my last 4 alternatives. You got East Waterfront. And when I say East Waterfront, I'm talking about all the new kind of Tridel stuff that they are building east of Yonge Street down by the water. Some beautiful buildings, some amazing views. They are expensive because they are newer. And there's still just like not as much going on down there. You got to do a little bit of walk, kind of back up to St. Lawrence Market or King Street or Front Street or any of those areas, maybe to go for dinner. But they have come a long way. And I will say that one of the things that Toronto, I feel like this is long, long ago, kind of messed up on is like didn't make our waterfront amazing. Now we're putting really nice stuff in there. When you build nice buildings, you get good anchor tenants, and eventually it will build out some really, really nice condos in that area. All right, rapid fire on the last 3. You got the Design District. I would call this from like Jarvis to Sherbourne, okay? Now, there are some areas north of Queen where it gets, you know, let's just be honest, a little bit unsafe depending on who's living in that area. If you stay south of Queen Street down to Front Street, I think there's a lot of great options. I love like 138 Princess, I think is a really, really good building. There's a lot on Richmond and Adelaide that are older condos that give you great floor plans and you're in a great area. And it's just like more calm compared to King West. We had a lot of clients that live in this area, and I feel like people kind of like forget about it. It's obviously got all the furniture stores and design areas and things like that. But it's an area I think you should at least consider if you're looking to get into the east end of downtown Toronto, but you're not looking at St. Lawrence Market or Distillery District. King Street East, the design district, it's got some really good options. Just beside Distillery District, then you have Canary District, lots of new buildings there, a lot of really nice buildings there as well, but that's kind of slowly growing into its own community. It's still going to take some time to really establish itself. And then how could I not talk about Yonge and Bloor? There's a ton of older condos and newer condos all in that area, a lot of options. But the reason why it wasn't on my top 5 is I've just found when people are reaching out to me, they're not saying like, this is my top choice of where I want to live. Typically they're starting with King West, St. Lawrence Market, or even Bay Street Corridor, which isn't even an area I've really talked about yet in this video. So there you go. Those are my 5 most popular in my experience as an active real estate agent in Toronto. The 7 other alternatives that exist. Did I miss something? Is there an area you live in that you think absolutely needs to be in this list? Please let me know below. Also, if you are looking at getting to the condo market this year, make sure to watch our Ultimate Condo Buyer's Guide. That's probably the most educational, best piece of content I've ever put out on YouTube. You can watch that next. Have a great day. My name is Tom Storey, and remember, home is where your story begins.